Hi, and welcome to Happy Kitty Kitchen. Cooking is time consuming, at least good cooking is, so I'm making a series called From Freezer to Feast to show you how to utilize your freezer in ways that will make your life easier and encourage you to eat at home more and without compromising on great flavors. I know that when you've had a long, exhausting day, the last thing you want to do is think of what to make and actually make it. However, when half of the work is done for you, it gets a lot easier to resist ordering out. After all, home food is good food because you know exactly what's in it and it's extremely cost effective. When making pasta and meatballs, it's usually the sauce that is made from scratch and the meatballs that are time consuming to make. That's why on days where I'm already making meatballs or I have the time, I make them in bulk and freeze them. First I freeze them on a tray, then once they're solid, I throw them in a freezer bag as you saw in the video. For the sauce, sure, you could use canned sauce, but homemade tastes so much better, and whenever we have a crate of tomatoes sent over from a friend's farm, I decide to make a big batch of marinara sauce, which takes about 2 hours to make on that day, and then I just portion them out and freeze those too. For the meatballs, I'll lay them out on a tray, cover them in olive oil, and I like to use olive oil that I make infused with garlic, bay leaf, and rosemary. Then I'll pop those directly in the oven. I've got a quarter of a 2-day-old baguette, which would be perfect for garlic bread or bruschetta or something similar, but I don't have the time, so it's faster for me to spread some homemade pesto on it. I have a video on that if you're interested. And then I top it off with Emmental cheese, which was already shredded. I have it always available in the freezer, ready to use. Then I pop that into the oven with the meatballs. The only actual prepping I do for this recipe is chopping the onions, carrots, and mushrooms, which to be honest is optional and not that's necessary because the pasta sauce that is defrosting already has blended onions and seasonings in it. But I do it because it will enhance the flavors and I love having them in my pasta. While I'm doing the prep work or even before, I throw some pasta in the pot to boil and I use 2 different pastas just because that's what I have left, but that's okay. It'll only take about 10 to 13 minutes to parboil. I take out the parboiled pasta and transfer it to the pot with the pasta sauce to finish cooking it in there. I don't throw away the pasta water, instead I set it aside in a bowl and put butter in the pan to start cooking down the onions. I'm going to season the onions with salt, pepper, thyme, and oregano. These seasonings are already in the sauce, but I will be thinning out the sauce, so I have to compensate now. I gradually add in the pasta water to the pot just to keep the onions from burning because I am cooking on high heat to finish faster. I'm going to cover it until the onions soften and tend to the other elements I have cooking. The pasta is fully cooked, the meatballs need to be turned over and popped back into the oven. I could at this point just add them to the pasta pot and they will be cooked all the way through, but I like getting them a bit more crispy on their exterior, so I pop them back into the oven after I flip them over. To the pasta, I am adding a generous splash of heavy cream, and if you're wondering why I put a bit in the spoon first, it's to taste it and make sure it hasn't gone bad. You definitely don't want to accidentally pour spoiled cream over a meal you were working hard at making, so always check before. Mix and cover, and now back to the pan. I dump in the mushrooms because they take less time to cook than the onions and carrots, and I taste the pasta. Always taste your food to see how to make adjustments before serving. The cheesy pesto breads are almost done. I'm leaving them for a minute longer on a higher rack just to get some bubbling cheese. And the meatballs are done, so I'm throwing them into the pan and giving them a mix, then pouring everything into the pasta pot and mixing well. And there you have it. In under 30 minutes, I had a wholesome, full meal, very well seasoned, very rich in flavor, done and enough for a family of 5. I do have separate detailed videos on my channel on how to make meatballs, pasta sauce, and pesto. However, this video is more about showing you how you can use your own favorite recipes ahead of time and how you can use the freezer to take shortcuts in the kitchen when it is crunch and munch time. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave me a comment, and as usual, have a great day from Happy Kitty Kitchen. Bye!